Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Carrie and this is Daisy, and today I am going to be doing a book unhaul for you. So a lot of these books I recently decided to get rid of whenever I was going through all four of my bookshelves. I basically have all of my books double stacked. I have a lot of books right now, and I started realizing that there was some that I just am no longer interested in. These are books that I have had for quite a while, and I maybe bought them because they were just super hyped up, or maybe I was just getting to know my taste and thought, oh, maybe I'll be interested in that. And then, you know, it's been 3-4 years later and I still haven't read it, have no intentions of reading it. So it's time for me to go ahead and get rid of some of these books. Let's go ahead and just get started. The first set of books that I have to talk about is going to be from Karen Marie Moning. This is her Fever series, and I am getting rid of these for one reason only, and that is because these are library bindings. This one doesn't even have a cover on it, and I am going to be meeting her at Book Bonanza, so I went ahead and I got better copies of these, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these older ones. I'm going to give them to Goodwill. The next set of books that I have to talk about are going to be a couple of books that I was a little on the fence about getting rid of. That is going to be by Beth Carey. I have The Affair and then Glimmer. I haven't really heard a lot of great things about Beth Carey in her writing. I read one book by her and I wasn't just a huge fan of it. I know that The Affair is supposed to be a whole lot like 50 Shades. I wasn't a huge fan of 50 Shades. And yeah, so I need room on my bookshelves for books that I like better. So I'm getting rid of these. The next several books that I have to talk about are all books that is kind of a what was I thinking. These are books that were really hyped up, but majority of them are not romance, aren't things that I personally would ever want to read. The first one is The Sunday Jar. This is by Allison Morgan. The premise sounded really cute. I got it at one of my local thrift stores for 25 cents, which is the reason why I picked it up. But I'm not gonna lie, it kind of is like chick lit slash rom-com slash women's literature. It just is not something that I am even remotely interested in. It has the same kind of banter as like Shopaholic or whatever that series is, and I just thought that was kind of dumb and not so much funny, but like obviously trying to be obvious funny, and that just isn't very funny to me, if that makes any sense. It's just not my type of book. The next one is It Happens in the Hamptons by Holly Peterson. This book was super popular about a year or two ago. It was literally everywhere. I have seen so many copies of this cover around that it's just ridiculous. And I bought it because it was hyped up, and I have no intentions of reading it. The next one is kind of a similar situation. I got it at Goodwill. It's super hyped up. I've heard a lot about it. It is The Wedding Shop by Rachel Hawk. This is kind of like a two-timeline situation with going back and forth between, I think it's like World War, I don't know, it's 1930s, so what, World War II-ish, and it's about a girl who owns a wedding dress shop who's waiting for her love to come back from overseas, and I guess he never does, and it's like a mystery thing, and it goes into the future. I don't know, it doesn't sound that interesting to me. The next book I bought because of the hype is The Rosie Project by Jermaine Simpson? I don't know. I'm really bad at names. The reason why I'm actually kind of still interested in this, it sounds pretty interesting, and it is kind of a romance, but you see like the front cover is like literally been ripped off. This is just a really bad copy of it, and I just don't want to keep this on my shelves any longer. I may still read this, but I don't know if it's going to be very soon that I read it. The next book is Tell Her No Lies by Kelly Irvin. I got this, I think, on Book Outlet a couple of years ago. It's about a girl, I think it's romance and suspense, and but it just doesn't sound very good. I guess like she's accused of murdering somebody, and she's a prime suspect now, and she can't really trust anybody. I don't know, it just doesn't sound that good to me. The next couple of books I bought because some of my favorite YouTubers have recommended or talked about it. And I bought these a couple of years ago whenever I was still really kind of getting to know my own personal reading taste. I think these two books that I have to talk about right now are both books that Gabby from Gabby Reads mentioned, and I love Gabby. She's one of my favorite booktubers. Her voice is just really soothing and relaxing to watch, and I just really enjoy her content. However, I don't necessarily read the same books that she does. Like, I read the same romance books, but I'm not really into the mystery, thriller, women's literature stuff that she's into. And I got these whenever she was recommending it a couple years ago, whenever I was still getting to know my own taste. The first one is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This it does not interest me. I bought it because of the hype and because she really liked it, but I have no intentions of reading this. There's really not a romance to it. I know she really loved it, but it's just not something I plan on reading anytime soon. And the other book is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinsborough. I think this is kind of a mystery or something. I don't really know. It doesn't, once again, it's just not, I mean, it's not romance, so it's really not my kind of book. It may be interesting, may be fun, but I'm more of a romance reader. I don't have any intentions of reading a book like this anytime soon, so it's time for me to get rid of it and make room on my shelves. The next book is going to be What Was Mine by Helen Klein Ross. I got this over at one of the thrift stores, and it's kind of a mystery with, I guess, a baby girl. It comes missing from a shopping cart, and she raises that as her own, so it's like a woman steals a baby. And I'm super kind of interested in like true crime and cults. And I always, like, I love watching, like, if I'm watching TV, I'm always watching true crime documentaries or cult, especially cult, like Scientology and different, like, Children of God and the NXIVM cult. Like, all of that stuff fascinates me to no end. And so I love watching it, but I don't think, just because I like watching true crime or like mystery kind of stuff doesn't mean I necessarily want to read about it. Very similar to that one is going to be Gone by Mo Hader. Got this over at a thrift store. It sounded interesting. I mean, it's a great copy. It's in perfect condition. It's just not something I'm planning on reading anytime soon. The next book I was really on the fence of getting rid of. It is Lorelei Livewire. This is book number 8 in the series, and that's the main reason why I'm getting rid of this. I've heard good things about this author, but nobody I'm super close with that reads the same kind of books that I do really like hype her up, so I don't really know. Also, because it is book number 8, I've got this OCD thing where I cannot start a series like in the middle. It drives me nuts to no end. Like, I have to start with book number 1 and mark my way through. This is book number 8. Even if I get to the series, it's going to be a very long time before I get to this book. It's time to get rid of it. The next book I have to get rid of is going to be Bookends by Jane Green. I read the blurb for this. It just does not sound like my kind of book at all. I don't know why I got it. I don't even know where I got it. It's just not for me. The next book to talk about is All or Nothing. This is by Kendall Ryan. This is obviously a library binding. It is not in the best condition. I'm also not a huge fan of Kendall Ryan with her books that I've read, which has been about 5 or 6 of them. I've given 2 to 3 stars. They're just not the best writing in my opinion, and I could do a lot better books with my time and with my space, so I'm getting rid of it. The next book is going to be The Husband's Secret by Leanne Mority. This is another book where it was super hyped up. Everybody was talking about it. This book was everywhere a couple years ago, so I got it. I don't really know what it's about. Also, the other big reason why I want to get rid of this one is that I don't know if you can see it from here, but this book is dirty. Like, it's obviously a used copy. I've never read it, so obviously it's not dirty for me, but you can see, like, that's just disgusting. It's like somebody read this book while they were eating, and like here, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's like somebody got their dirty fingers or something all over it. Like, that's just gross. Like, don't eat messy stuff and touch it with your books, please. Like, that's just gross. The next book that I have to get rid of, I'm actually kind of sad to be getting rid of this one. I just don't think I'll ever read it. It is in perfect brand new condition, and that's Kristen Hannon, The Nightingale. I really don't think it's ever even been read. Like, it is in perfect condition. I might sell this one to like half price books or something. I don't know. But I don't know. Let me know if this is like completely worth it for a romance reader to read this. It's super long. It's not really my genre of romance, so I don't know if it's for me, but let me know if I should keep a hold of this one. I'm not sure. The next book I have to talk about is When We Caught Fire by Anna Godberson. This is a relationship that I think is a love triangle, and it's done in like the 1920s during the Chicago Great Fire or whatever, and it's about some kind of a socialite who is marrying some well-to-do man, but while she's engaged to him, she is thinking about her first love, and he's not really from the right side of the tracks or anything, but she wants to have an affair with him one last time before she gets married, and it ends up starting a big firestorm between the three characters. I mean, this one is also one that I'm kind of on the fence of. If you have read this one, let me know if it's super good and if I should keep it. Yeah, so those two are kind of on the fence for me. The next book that I have to talk about is 10 Tiny Breaths. This is once again a very bad library copy that has been just very well used, and honestly, I read this book. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. If I do get another book, it's only going to be because I want Kay Tucker to sign it along with all the other books that I have signed by her, and I am going to be seeing her very soon at Book Bonanza. So, but yeah, I just don't want this cover on my shelves anymore. It's just really, really bad shape. The next book I have to talk about is actually going to be a series, and that is All by Jodi Ellen Malpass. I've got This Man, and then I also have The Protector. So This Man is the whole series, and then The Protector. I am just not a huge fan of the series at all. I did not like how controlling he was. He was very, very abusive, and it just was not my kind of book, so I'm getting rid of them. The next set of books I have to talk about are part of a series. They are by Brianna Aubrey, and it is At Any Moment, at Any Price, at Any Turn. And the reason why I'm getting rid of these is because they are not in good shape. The spine has been completely damaged. Somebody has cracked it open in about 50 different places. It is no longer centered. Like, it's completely, whenever it sits on a shelf, it sits with half the spine going up and half the spine going down. It is just in really, really bad shape for me anyway. I'm really picky on my books. So if I'm going to have a book on my bookshelf, like, I would never bring this to me to a signing and have an author sign this. Like, I would be embarrassed to have her sign it in this shape. I bought it used, and I'm kind of regretting the fact that I bought this in such bad condition. I've got to be more careful in the books that I buy in the future, but I am going to go ahead and donate these because I just cannot have this in my collection. I would never want her to sign these. So time to get rid of them. And the last 3 books that I have to talk about, I am getting rid of them because of things that the author has done in their personal life that I've recently learned about. The first one, I've talked about this once before, and I'm super sad to learn about him. This is Damon Suede. This is Hothead. This is a male-male romance. He is a gay man who writes these romances, and I love the fact that he is, because most male-male romance books are written by women, and I loved this book. It is mass market, so that's part of the reason why I'm getting rid of it. But a lot of the reason why is because he has said some comments, and I won't lie, like, I don't do social media, you guys. Like, I really don't. I can go months without going on Instagram. I am not one to follow on Twitter. Like, I don't care what the author themselves typically do. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't. Like, I care about the characters more than I care about the authors. And that's not always a good thing. I get that. But I just don't follow a lot of the whole social media thing. I'm not hardly ever on my phone. If I'm doing anything, I'm reading a book. So, yeah, I've heard some things about him, and it's really sad, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this book because of that reason. And the next person I'm actually very, very sad about. I'm super late to this. I'm sure everybody already knows it, but I recently read some stuff by this author who's from Oklahoma. She makes me very unhappy that she is from Oklahoma, because the things that she has said on Twitter and the things that have been screenshotted that she has said is truly, truly disgusting. I do not condone this author. I will never ever recommend another book by her. That's Jamie McGuire, and she is a racist. She is a bigot. She is a terrible human being, and I am disgusted at her words. So I need to put that out there. I am getting rid of these 2 books. I did keep Beautiful Disaster because I already owned it. I will never ever buy another book by this author. I will never support her again, but I did love Beautiful Disaster, the original book. So I did keep that one, but I will never ever purchase another thing by this author or support her or follow her. I was shocked at some of the things that I saw that she said. It is absolutely disgusting and should never ever be tolerated ever. So, because I already owned the book, I am going to keep that one because I truly liked it. I also recommended Beautiful Disaster in my new adult recommendations. That was before I found out what her personal stance was, and so therefore I can no longer recommend that book. I am going to be putting a comment below letting y'all know on that page or on that specific video that I no longer recommend her because of her personal stance on views and the fact that she is just simply a racist. So anyway, that is that. That is my book Unhaul. If there are any books in this list that I may have mentioned and you think I absolutely need to keep or should not be getting rid of, please let me know in the comments below. We will talk about it there. I will talk to you guys very soon.